Hey guys, welcome back to yet another video. Today I've been very kind to be joined here by the Thornaby manager Deano Browne to preview their upcoming season. Deano, thank you for joining me. How are you doing, mate?
No problem, mate. My pleasure. I'm really good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. So last season, because you were originally last season the assistant manager after the team got relegated. How difficult was that last season for the club?
Yeah, really tough. We came into the club just before Christmas, I think, maybe start of November, and I think we were on 7 points at the time. Um, and I think a lot of changes had to be made at the club at that time. Down to nobody's fault, really. I think it was just the club had been through some real difficult times. And I think it just needed freshening up a little bit, and that's what me and Jamie came in to try to do at that time. And then to get from 7 points to get to 31 points was probably better than what we thought we were going to do when we first came in, if I'm honest. But obviously, to get relegated was really disappointing with that many points on the board.
Yeah, I've got to say as well. I think I kept regularly checking the league to see how you were doing. I think it was very impressive towards the end of the season. Get some good results when need be. I think you're just unlucky, just to stay go down, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think there was a couple of critical moments in the season. One which being your team, Redcar. That was probably rock bottom for us. Um, Getting absolutely battered on Boxing Day was sort of the turnaround from us, and then from then till the end of the season, we started picking up results and getting some positive ones on and getting some points on the board. Um, Played Sunderland RCA. That got cancelled from a Saturday game where I think they struggled to get a team out. That got cancelled due to the weather and got turned to midweek, and they managed to get quite a strong side out, and we were quite weak on that night. And they beat us 1-0, and I think that was sort of the dig in the ribs that we didn't need. Um, but yeah, we picked up some points and some played some really good stuff at times, but ultimately it wasn't good enough and we got relegated, which probably over the season the club deserved really.
I think with how you ended the season, does that give a lot of confidence still though to the club?
Yeah, yeah. We knew we'd got some really talented players in. We knew the core of the group was really strong, and I knew that at the time, obviously, it was me and Jay. If we could keep the nucleus together, that we could have a positive season next year. And sometimes you need to take a little bit of a step back and get relegated or become worse, as they say, to go forward. And that's what Thornaby's going to do, and that's what my job is going forward.
Yeah, and obviously, how's the club been doing like training at all since the relegation?
Yeah, so the club's doing really well. They've got a fresh new outlook on the club. There's real positive energy going in there. There's a lot of volunteers working really, really hard. Obviously, I know you're probably going to talk about what's gone on in the media with the fire and stuff like that, so I'll leave that till later on. But the club is on a well, we've got relegated, but there's a positive feel around the club. It's on a high. There's lots of sponsorship. There's lots of fans around. I'm really positive to be a manager again. It's something I haven't been for a few seasons now, so that's sort of like relit the fire in my belly. So everybody at the club's looking forward to having a real positive season.
And which like players have you club announced you've signed so far?
Well, we've been quite sneaky as a football club. We've tried to keep a couple under wraps. Um, my initial feeling was I need to try and keep the nucleus of the team together and keep the people together that I could. So Dale LG's been announced, I think, on Twitter and on the social profiles, who was an outstanding player last year, and I know a lot of clubs have been after Dale. So to be able to meet to keep Dale at the football club and to make him captain is something that was really, really, really special for me. And obviously, he's a personal friend of mine as well, so that
Yeah.
really helps. Young Charlie Heinsohn, I know he's been announced. He's a bit of a fan's favourite. Um, and we've got, if you look on the Northern website, I think we've got 15, 16 signed on, and a lot of them haven't been announced. So I don't really want to steal the club's thunder when they put them out on Twitter and stuff like that. But we've been doing a lot of business behind the scenes, and I'm pleased as where we are as a club and as a squad at this moment in time. And I'll say again, I'm really excited. I think our first game's against Billingham Symphonia away on the Friday night, I think, Friday the 28th, and I'm just really excited. I know most managers will say the same thing, but pre-season pre-season can be a little bit tedious, a little bit long on the tooth. You want to get to that first game, but we're getting our preparations right, and we'll be ready by that Friday night, I'm sure.
And of course, being quite sort of local derby, great way to start the season, isn't it?
Yeah, local derby. I think there's maybe five, six, seven of them this year. The Teesside area is strong for Northern League football, isn't it? So that I think there's quite a few derbies this year. And I'm saying to the lads, treat every game like a derby, treat every game like a cup final because it's a massive season for Thornaby, and we need to bounce back and we need to be as positive as we can, especially at the start of the season when the games come thick and fast.
And of course, you mentioned the fire that had happened recently. How devastating was that to find out the news?
Yeah, I mean, the reason I took the job when I got offered it off Steve was because I knew what was going on behind the scenes at the club. There was a lot of promises made from the club, and I knew that they were coming off the new hospitality areas, new changing rooms, new kits, new equipment. The list's endless, to be fair, and that's what really excited me about the club. A friend of mine works for Cleveland Fire, and I had an inbox on Facebook at I think it was half 5 in the morning saying that there was four or five appliances down at the ground because there was quite a large fire. And to wake up to that in the morning I was gutted, but I was gutted for the volunteers who had put all the hard work in, for the fans that had created an outdoor an outdoor viewing area for fans. They'd created that themselves, all the work, all the voluntary work, and a lot of their hard money that they've been putting in creating that area. The office that obviously got burnt down with all the equipment in and the printer and the laptop and merchandise for the club. That was getting also changed into a hospitality suite as well. And I know a lot of hours from people have gone into that. So that's what devastated me first and foremost, the worst. Just knowing that the people that put that hard work in. But then when I actually got to the ground, I went to the ground that morning at around 10 a.m. and just to see the sort of the devastation and the carnage that had happened was heartbreaking for everybody really because the club is on the up and you don't need these little sort of setbacks. Um, and when I got there, there was already 20, 30 fans there
Wow.
who had either self-employed or were off that day or retired. They were down there already, like trying to clean up, trying to get back started with a rebuilding of it, etc. And that's what Thornaby Football Club's all about. The fan base is incredible. We played a game yesterday, club versus fans, and I think there was 25, 30 fans had paid their own money to play against a couple of the players, myself
Brilliant
and
that.
members from the club. So yeah, it's an incredible club and it's got the potential to do really well. But yeah, regards to fire, as I said about getting relegated, sometimes in a negative, a positive can come from it. And the people of Thornaby, the people of Teesside, and the wider football community have been outstanding. Before I came on here, I had a little check of the GoFundMe, and I think it's just gone over £13,000, which is incredible. That'll get the essentials that we need to get back to get up and running for the first game of the season. So it's absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, I'm glad you checked. I forgot to actually check it before coming on here. However,
I've done some research.
For people that have been missing, the link to the GoFundMe page will be in the video description for those that are watching, obviously.
That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
obviously, it is such a cliche to say that fans are such a big fan of football club, but with the fact that the GoFundMe page was so heavily requested by fans, it wasn't like the club decided to do this. This was something that fans wanted to be able to donate to the club. How much does that mean?
It's unbelievable because I know, particularly the volunteers and the people on the committee and the fans that are there week in, week out. I mean, myself and Jamie have been really lucky to manage and assistant manage a couple of clubs that have got a really strong fan base, and Thornaby's is up there with the best. Even when the results weren't going so well last year, the fans were on the bus over to Carlisle and Penrith and all over the northeast, and then to see not just Thornaby fans but all the other fans across non-league football donating as much or as little as they can is as a manager of Thornaby Football Club means a lot, and I know it means a lot to the fans and the volunteers that put those hours in that nobody sees. It's all right for us and the players on a match day working out to try and get them results, or on a training night working that little extra to make sure we're right for a Saturday. Nobody sees the amount of work that goes on behind in all Northern League clubs, and I know Thornaby's committee and volunteers work is hard, if not harder, than anybody out there. So just probably on behalf of them and on behalf of the football club, we just like to thank everybody out there who's made a donation or has even just retweeted or shared it.
Yeah,
It's fantastic. It's a great feeling.
yeah, and obviously now we'll talk about the upcoming season. What are the aims for the club now going forward?
Well, I'm under a little bit of pressure. When I had the chat, it was we want 2 promotions in 3 years, and there's a bit of pressure on you and stuff like that. But that's the only reason I've come back into management. Really, I've had a bit of time out being Jay's number two, and me and Jay have got a great relationship, and we've done really well, I believe, over the last couple of seasons with the clubs that we've got. But I needed something fresh for myself, and the pressure is to go and get promoted, and I'm not scared of saying that. I know that the second division over the years has been really difficult to get out of. It's a division that I've only managed in for a few months when I was at Norton, and they went bust. It's a long time ago that now, I think maybe 7, 8 years.
Yeah,
Um, so I wouldn't say I'm accustomed to second division football and a lot of the clubs in there. So I'm going to have to work a little bit harder to get my knowledge right and to make sure that I do my research on everybody else. Um, but ultimately the goal is to get promoted. But I'm not daft. I know there's good teams, good managers, good players in the second division now, and I know it's going to be a tough ask. But with the players that we've got at the football club and the support that we have, I believe that we can do that.
yeah. Well, that's end of my questions. Thank you so much for Dino. Thank you so much, Dino. That was actually phenomenal. Really brilliant chat. And yeah, like I said, for people watching, the link to the GoFundMe page will be down below in the description. Do go and donate if you can. And thank you so much for Dino. It's been absolutely wonderful having you on the channel. Maybe I think something that I might do at the end of the season. I'm probably thinking about doing season reviews as well, bringing back everyone I'm going to have fun through the series. Bring back. Would you be up for to do that?
Yeah, anytime you need anything from me, just get in touch and then I'll be on here, no problem. Keep doing what you're doing, mate. And I'll speak to you in a bit.
Speak to you. Good. See you later, Dino.
See you, pal. Bye bye.